join me. Let's do some art.
So today I will be working with these leftover bird legs. They used to be part of a crow, a dollar store Halloween decoration, and I used the other parts already. Now these legs wiggle a bit, so I will secure them on top of this small tray. I will also add a box. This one has some felt stuck to it, but it doesn't really matter. The box is the right size, and like always, I will use my E6000 to glue everything together. Now, inspired by those bird legs, I will of course go into some type of bird-like assemblage or sculpture. You will see. Next, I put together a small wedge made from clothespins so that I can attach this little decoration piece of a violin for his neck at a bit of an angle. Now for his head I will use this whistle. I think the shape works really well, and I enlarged the hole so it fit really tightly on top of that violin. And next I use half of those kids toy containers to give him a little behind and to cover up that bit of bone that's sticking out. So his basic body came together quickly, but next I want to stabilize him on this tray. I use double point tacks and it works quite well. It was a little fiddly because the angle was funny, but now he's stable and yes, he bounces. Now I am planning to give him some kind of plumage, so I attached the leftover top of a glue bottle to give me an anchor point. Now for his wings I will be using these plastic knives. They're easy to cut, they're lightweight, and I think they have a pretty good shape. So I put together two sets, and of course they get attached to the side of the box. Now I think at this point it's a good time to turn you over to some music. Like always, anything you may need to know you will find in the captions. It's all pretty simple to follow, and I will be back chatting with you in just a wee bit. Enjoy. So by now the basic structure, the detailing and the coloring is done on this bird. And like often I use this muted metallic look which I really prefer. But he is a bird, so I want to give him some colorful plumage as well as trying out a bit of a different look. So for that purpose I will be using some fabric. I have this little metal dome and I cut colorful fabric in strips and I just glue them around the dome in 2 different rows. Now I had forgotten that my camera was still zoomed in from earlier and the angle was really terrible, so a lot of the footage was not usable, but I just have to explain it to you. I glued the fabric, I tied it up, I cut the loose ends in smaller strips. I also added a bit of chain on the edges and to hold it together, and now I'm coloring the edge and the inside of this little dome. Now you will see all those details one more time later on. I also added fabric to the tail. Again, I just used strips and I pushed them inside that top from the glue bottle, and here you see me attaching some chain around the connection point. Again, I cut those fabric strips a bit thinner and then I glued down his little cap. So here's my little bird all done, and of course I want to show some of the details to you one more time. Now it still has its bounds, and before I completed him I actually added a bit of this pink wax just here and there to bring out some of the highlights and accentuate the textures. I also give it some dangles. There's a little blue stone necklace here in the front. There are some tiny little jewels on either side, all different colors, and there's one here in the back. But otherwise the main color components is absolutely the fabric. Now I never used fabric in this manner before, so I love to know from you what you think. Does it work? Does it fit together? And what's the effect? Anyway, let's go on to the details of this little guy. Lots of it in his feet, but here the base I kept pretty plain, but it's nicely textured. I like the little label keeper here in the front. And of course all the different components I was able to add to him, and mostly it's broken jewelry pieces, odd shapes. There are a few flowers here. There's a tiny butterfly perching here on the violin, and I purposely didn't decorate this too much because I wanted it still to look like a violin. There is a pretty little leaf down here. Let's see what else we have. There are some trees. And there are some rings around this piece with a tiny turtle. But everything else I think is mostly texture. Oh yes, there are those 2 double-decker buses here on the top and a tiny sign that says BFF. I hope you can see it right there. Now I love his profile. I think he's kind of cute. I gave him a black cabochon for eyeball. He of course has one on the other side too, but I added the cap a bit crooked purposely because I think it gives him a bit more character. So that's the outside of him. And let's have a look on the inside. Here I added just some colorful fabric. And of course that little machine I put together, mostly gears, and I guess it could be his mechanical heart or his inner working power, whatever you can imagine it to be. So this can close nice and tight. And that's it, I think. Yes, the bottom is just cleaned up but plain. And here he is. Now I say he, but it could be she, and actually I would love to give it a name. I could put it here. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. I am so glad you came to see me today. I hope you had fun watching me put him together. But if you can leave me a comment, I always appreciate it. And especially about this whole fabric idea. Let me know, honestly, what you think. So anyway, here is my little creation, and I will be back with my next video as soon as my next project is done. In the meantime, you stay well, you stay creative. Come and see me soon again. Bye bye for now.